standards of slaves. The 16-year civil war also.
Thank you for staying with us. The second leg of the conversation for this morning, we'll switch gears right now. We'll talk about the journey ahead, the state of a nation, talking about what some have termed to be a bumpy road to 2027. 2027 is the next general elections that will feature, the elections into the post of the president in Nigeria, and of course, many of the gubernatorial positions in Nigeria, National Assembly elections as well. And some are saying with this heavy politicking that we are witnessing at this time, it's supposed to ordinarily come maybe the year that precedes the general election, but the general election is 2027. Today is 8th of September, 2025. But then, the tension is building, the cloud is building, and this is where we are. And some are concerned about the politician, the average Nigerian politician, the desperation. It's palpable. You can feel it while everybody is gunning for the power. Even at the highest level, the 001 in Abuja and the 001s at different states, the plot to be governor, the ones who want to return, those in the first time, alignment, realignment, and those that want to, offset the status quo in their state to boot out whoever is there and to gain power through the ballot. And is this not the desperation taken too far? By the way, in the next few months, to be the turn of the people of the good, the good people of Anambra State to make a decision, either to return Governor Soludo or to have other persons occupy, the government house in Norca. And of course, it will be the turn of the good people of Ekiti State as well. Then Osun elections, we always is the last before the general election. It has a date already, August 8th, 2026. And the politicians, they are doing what they do. That is politicking. Some are concerned. Now, another angle is that of the umpire, INEC. Some are thinking, wouldn't they crack, under the heavy pressure of politicians, those that are desperate to grab power by all means necessary. Now, talking about INEC, the number one at INEC, that's Professor Yakubu Mohammed, will be retiring, bowing out later in the year, and many persons are concerned. Who will come into the fray? Will the person be able to shoulder this enormous task and the process of emergence of the INEC chairman, national chairman as well? Some have said, in as much the president or the presidency still have a say, can we ever, any president in power, can we ever trust that presidency to be neutral and they won't put pressure on that person? That is the talking point today, even as many Nigerians are waiting who will succeed Professor Yakubu Mohammed. And here we are. This morning, we have a public affairs analyst with us, Mr. Nelson Ekujimi. He joins us, to be part of this program and speak on this matter, the road to 2027, the pressure, and of course, the umpire, having a credible process. That is the main thing. Mr. Nelson, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, but just a quick one. I'm sure you know, many Nigerians know as well, that this kind of heavy politicking we are witnessing supposed to be coming naturally in 2026. But it has started. In fact, the president alluded to that in one of the speeches in which he said, those that have triggered early politics. And some will say, Mr. President, not those people alone, even the APC, everybody is on a high right now. Are you concerned that this is real desperation in full action?
No, I'm not concerned that this is desperation, because you and I know very well that the preparations for the next election starts immediately after the conclusion of the present election or the previous one. So it is not out of place if you see politicians start jostling, start aligning and realigning. That is in tandem with democratic practice. But what the law frowns at and prohibits is for campaigns publicly by politicians to canvass the vote of the people before the official, kickoff scheduled time or day by the electoral umpire. So Nigerians are aware that even when local government elections are held and the politicians campaign, which is in tandem with the provisions of the law, you can also see that as a politicking. But be that as it may, I think it is important for the media, as well as other stakeholders, to ensure that at every point in time we churn out, the truth and objective information. I will tell you for free, I disagree with your position. The opposition started the campaign with their clamor that they are forming a coalition, that they are going to unseat the sitting government and what have you. And definitely, you not expect the sitting government to just hold its hands and watch, even though everybody is pretending as if they are not already campaigning. But you can see it from the statements, majorly of the opposition political parties, that some of them are claiming that they are coalescing into a coalition under an existing political party under the laws of Nigeria, that is the ADC. So the campaign, the alignment, realignment is in tandem with how politicians will naturally behave, because all that a political party wants to do is to gain power. Whatever happens after that, is another kettle of fish. But in gaining power, it must put in place programs that will align with the interests of the people, so that when the people go to the polls, they will know that this is the direction I want to cast my lot in for the next 4 years of our lives. So I don't see it as desperation. I just see it as politicians playing their normal game. But be that as it may, I think it is important for us to also recognize that as much as we are politicking, those issues of governance must never be allowed to suffer. We must continuously engage on it and talk to those at the end of our affairs to keep the eyes on the ball, because we have voted them from the past election, from the previous election. They were voted into office to go and to run the affairs of the country for 4 years, and that commitment or that agreement is something they must keep on. They must keep to the last day of that tenure.
All right, Mr. Ekujimi. Let's take a closer look at the umpire right now. INEC, the current INEC chairman, Professor Yakubu, was appointed on October 21, 2015. He has served 2 terms, so by November this year, he should be out of office. And we understand that Mr. President is shopping for a new INEC boss, for a new INEC chairman. My question is, don't you think we need serious electoral reforms at this time? Because if the umpire is being determined by the executive, how has it helped our democracy in Nigeria? We've had challenges over and over again, people complaining about, the character of the persons of those, appointed into offices and as INEC officials, talking about the INEC boss himself, the chairman, talking about the resident electoral commissioners, talking about the state commissioners of INEC. So don't you think we need electoral reforms? Why is it that here in Nigeria, we still have the executive appointing...
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Ekujimi? Can you hear me clearly?
Go on, I'm hearing you.
All right,
yes,
so I'm talking about electoral reform, because if you look at other countries, even in Africa, like Kenya and South Africa, they have a robust system.
I can hear you. Yes.
All right, yes, I'm going on. Then even in the United States, in the US, for instance, the Federal Election Commission, they have at least 3 members of all the political parties represented. But here in Nigeria, we have appointments being made by the executive. Don't you think it will affect, the position of the electoral body? Can we really have free and fair elections in Nigeria if we still continue this way without electoral reforms?
Well, I think Nigerians themselves must interrogate the issues until Professor Mahmoud Jega came into office. Professor Atairu Jega we had an INEC boss before then who bastardized the system. I was able to, carry out those shenanigans, was because of the fact that as at that period, our electoral system was more of manually driven. But with the assumption into office of Professor Atairu Jega, we have seen tremendous technological improvements in our INEC, in our electoral umpire, in the conduct of elections, that minimizes or limits the possibilities for electoral malpractices. Then come the assumption into office of Professor Mahmoud Jega, we have seen him up the ante in such a level that no matter who becomes the INEC boss today, if with the way our elections are conducted, if they maintain the status quo and improve on it, we'll continue to get it right. Don't forget, Nigeria's election is not the Nigerian people's affair alone. We also have support and collaboration with the international community. We have partners.
My point
and
exactly.
There are certain standards that have been set.
Yeah, Mr. Kujumi, my point exactly is the process through which the INEC officials emerge. Okay, the process of emergence of those officials. Shouldn't we look deeply? Shouldn't we look closely into it? Fine, the current INEC boss, when he came in, of course, he gave a speech at Chatham House, promising that election results will be transmitted automatically from polling units to the IREV. That did not happen. All the promises he gave concerning the technology, talking about the IREV, that's INEC results viewing portal, talking about the BVAS, that's the bimodal voter accreditation system. All the promises gave about these technologies were not fulfilled up till today. So it's not just about the technology. How about the process of emergence of the leaders of INEC?
Well, I am sure you are a newcomer to the conduct of elections, because if you understand the Constitution and the Electoral Act, you won't be saying what you have just said. The Electoral Act makes it mandatory that results must be entered into a Form EC8A, and that result sheet must be signed by party agents, including security personnel at the polling station, as well as the INEC polling officer, who must countersign, and a copy must be given to all the parties involved that we have mentioned. And a copy of that result must be pasted on the wall of the location of that election. INEC transmission of result by IREV is a technical issue.
Mr. Kujumi, you don't seem to get my question.
Hold on,
I'm telling you the promises. I'm not the one who said it. You said you disagree with me. I'm not the one who said it. I'm telling you the promises he made.
Just a minute. Let me educate you. It's like you have limited knowledge about how this thing works.
Please.
And my duty here, why you have brought me.
Please, okay, please educate me, but I'm sharing the facts with you, okay? I'm sharing verifiable facts with you.
You are sharing a story that you have held on to, that even the...
It is not a story, Mr. Kujumi. I'm sharing facts with you.
Just a minute.
Please go ahead.
Our electoral system has the dispute resolution mechanism embedded in it. And you and I were all here when the parties that lost wanted to hang on to an infinitesimal part of the Electoral Act to say the election was not credible. All the justices of the Presidential Election Tribunal dismissed the petition that it lacked merit. If you say results were not transmitted electronically, the result sheet that was given to your party agent, where is it? After all, you and I know that the electorate gives room that the election must be conducted with result sheets from EC8A. But none of the parties who went to court will produce one to substantiate the allegations of rigging. And the court told you that the IREV is a viewing portal. It's just like you going to the stadium. Okay, for example, we are watching the World Cup qualifiers now. When you are watching some of the matches, you will see that at times the pictures will be still, these pictures will be frozen. Are you going to say if results of the match that is played, if it's not shown on the scoreboard, then the referee that blew that a goal was scored, are you going to say because the goal was not shown on the scoreboard that the referee that was on the field with the players and everybody knew a goal was scored and the ball was taken to the center of the field for the team that considered the goal to make a pass? Are you going to say that the goal was not scored? So you must, the purpose of us here is to educate people. I read the Vanguard the Vanguard story on the...
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
If I may come up, my last take on this matter, because of the exigency of time, is this. Like, many persons have expressed their concern that some of those skirmishes, the glitches that we just talked about in the last election, which many persons think is a blight on the whole process, now we are heading to 2027, 2020, even in 2025, there will be off-season gubernatorial election, 2 of them the next year or thereabout. Now, do you think the roads ahead is bumpy? I asked a question. Now that there will be another, most likely, except the tenure of Mr. Yakubu, Professor Yakubu is renewed, if there is another sheriff in town, and with the kind of heavy politicking that is on the opposing side, is on the ruling party side, we are seeing, do you think they will be able to shoulder, the expectations of Nigerians, and they will give Nigerians, and now the continuous voter registration is on, there are complaints and all of those things, but in the coming days, the coming few months, do you think INEC will stand tall and put his foot on the ground, irrespective of who is coming?
Okay, let me also tell you that if you look at the past of a man, and he has done well in the past, you have the right to assume, to have confidence in his ability to do better tomorrow. The conduct of elections so far by INEC has been, tremendously, great. It's something that when you put it on a scale, you score INEC 80 out of 100. And you and I know that if somebody scores 80 in any examination, he has scored an A, which is an excellent.
Mr. Ikujima, are you resident in Nigeria?
The politicians will try. I am absolutely. I've been an election observer, and I've been going from one part of the country to the other, observing elections. The shenanigans you see mostly on election day are by the politicians and the voters. When voters come to polling stations and wait to be induced, you talk about our election today. We complain, even including myself, about voters' inducement. If the voters' vote do not count, why are they being induced? If INEC is compromised, why are the parties inducing voters?
All right, Mr. Kujimi, because of time.
Situation where people say Party A gave them 10,000.
Yeah, because of time, Mr. Kujimi, I'm quite concerned. You haven't really addressed my question. Okay, my concern is transparency. That was why I asked that question. Okay, I was trying to give you some facts. So those were not my opinions; those were facts. I'm concerned about
transparency. In what aspects?
Yes. Now, yeah, hear me out, Mr. Kujimi. Transparency in the electoral body. Don't you think we need electoral reforms? I give an example of the U.S. How transparent their Federal Election Commission is. Do we have that transparency in Nigeria? If the INEC boss should give a promise and is not coming through with it, is that a sign of transparency? And what should we be doing to make sure that INEC is more transparent, including the emergence of the leader of INEC, the boss, the chairman, and the resident electoral commissioners? That's my question. Transparency.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, as far as I've participated in elections, actively, I've not been, a passive participant. I've been involved in our engagements with the electoral body, even with the voters themselves. And I can tell you, this present INEC, with the way they have conducted and managed our election, system, nothing could be more transparent than it. A situation whereby if a beavers machine that does not know whether you are going to vote for Party A or Party B does not authenticate your person, then you cannot vote. a situation whereby the result sheets and the ballot papers that are brought to Unit A differs from the one that is taken to Unit B. That if you take your voter's card to Unit B, even if you have a legitimate
Mr. Kujimi, so INEC is perfect.
You can never vote today. What transparency do you need?
INEC is perfect. We don't need any reforms, right?
No, the INEC, I'm not telling you INEC is perfect. If INEC was perfect, I will tell you 100% over 100%. I told you 80% means that there's still room for improvement. If we want to undertake a review of the conduct of elections, there are other aspects we can look at. But if you are looking at the electoral umpire edge, as we speak today, with what has been put on ground by Professor Atairu Jega and Mahmoud Yakubu, I can tell you for free, we can't go back to where we came from before the assumption of these two men into office. The innovations that have taken place in INEC. The INEC chairman sits in Abuja. He does not know how we vote in my local government. He does not come here. We are the ones who conduct election in my unit. Will the INEC chairman be in my unit?
All right, Mr.
Or will the resident electoral commissioner be in my unit in Lagos and be in another unit in Ibadan? When we are conducting presidential election or governorship election? Absolutely no. So the election system inculcates so many stakeholders. That makes...
It's an ongoing conversation, and trust us that in the coming days we'll still have you talk on this, because I'm sure as much as you want it, Nigerians want it as well. The credibility of the whole process, irrespective of anybody or any power putting pressure on anybody, so that we have a nation that we're proud of. Public affairs analyst, Mr. Nelson Ekunjimi, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, this will be the size of the program. These are nation. It must work. It should work. It will work. Femi Ojo is my name. See you tomorrow.